Well, today is Mother's Day, and that makes me think about my wife, Erin, because she is an incredible mother. You know, when two people get married young and they don't have kids prior to the marriage, nobody brings children into the marriage from another marriage, the people can kind of guess or assume what their spouse is going to be like as a mother or a father, but they can't know for sure. I know in my case, I could look at Erin and go, she's an incredible leader, she's an incredible thinker, she's got a great family in her own background. Her mom and dad are great people. I love her mom, and she's a great mother. So, you know, you could assume that Erin was going to be a good mom, but there was no way to know until we got married. Now, we are empty nesters. Our boys are 28 and 26 and both getting married this year. And so we've been living at home alone for a while. But Erin, in the past, has taught biblical parenting classes. And I've always thought, what a great person to do that, because she is such a great mom herself. And there's so many things that I love about the way she was and is as a mom. For one, she always had a vision for our boys from the time that they were born, that we would help them grow and mature to the place that when they got to be 18 to, out of college, that they would know how to live a mature life on their own, making good choices on their own. She wanted them, as I did, to love God and to love people and to grow up and mature and be able to live life as independent adults. There would be a day, she always knew, when they wouldn't be living with us, and we didn't want to hamstring them. We wanted them to grow up. And she was an incredible visionary with that. She always had that end game in mind. I think sometimes parents today forget about that end game and they just think about the moment, but there's a goal we should have as parents to get them to grow up to love the Lord and to love people and to be independent and mature enough to make good decisions and live on their own. The second thing I loved about Erin is she was always good at dealing with what she would call logical and natural consequences. She liked this teaching called Love and Logic, which I don't really understand deeply, but I know some things about. And logical consequences are different from natural consequences. Natural consequences are you go outside on a rainy day without your umbrella and you're naturally just going to get wet. That's just what happens, right? You go to a store without your wallet, naturally you cannot pay for whatever it is you thought you were going to get at the store. Logical consequences are unique because what they do is they remind a child that there are some logical things that will happen if they make a wrong choice, and if they make a right choice, of course. But let's think of it from the wrong perspective. Let's say a child forgets to take their homework to school and they go, it's time for the teacher to pick up the homework and the child doesn't have it. Well, logically, they're either going to get a lowered grade or a 0. Now, if the parents always come in and swoop in and take the homework over real quickly for the child, then the child doesn't learn the pain of getting a lowered grade or a 0. So many parents today just don't want their kids to experience any pain. They want it to be perfect all the time. And the problem with that is that you learn from pain. I used to work with a guy who used to say, I learn in 3 ways: pain, pain, and pain. And there's a lot of truth to that. If you forget your paper and you get the lowered grade or the 0, there's a really good chance you're not going to forget your paper again. Or if you do, it won't be more than maybe another time, because you'll feel that pain. And as a result, you'll be able to make better choices going forward about making sure you have your homework in your bag before you go to school. Now, that's a simple example, but it's a really good one, that there are logical consequences in life. If you tell a lie, then you get caught, there's going to be some sort of consequence. If you speed and the police officer pulls you over, there's going to be a logical speeding ticket consequence. Or worse, if you are going really, really fast, it could be really terrible. So that's a part of the way she raised our kids. Another way she raised our kids was to make sure that they dealt with hard things on their own. As they grew up and they needed to do something like talk to a teacher or talk to a coach, Erin was really intent on them learning how to do that on their own, so that we didn't go in and swoop in and talk to that parent or that teacher, that coach. They did it. And by them doing that, even though that was scary for them, they learned how to have adult conversations. They learned how to deal with issues, and they learned how to communicate what they were feeling or thinking, or logically explain a position that they felt like they wanted to share with that teacher or that coach. And one of the things that she did, which was really brilliant, and she still does it to this day, which I love, is she'll say to the boys, I can think of 2 or 3 ways you could handle that, or I can think of 2 or 3 things you could say during that conversation. And then she'll say, would you like to hear my ideas? And she lets them decide if they want to hear it or not. And the boys pretty quickly learn they better listen to mom's advice, because mom's pretty smart and she has good ideas. So they would say, yeah, and she'd say, okay, you could do this, or you could do that. But if they said no, they didn't want to hear it, then she would just say, okay, if you change your mind, let me know. And she'd walk away. Now, how brilliant is that? To say to your kids, I can think of 2 or 3 ways you could handle this. Would you like to hear my ideas? And then you give them the choice. They can either say yes or no. And if they're smart, like I said, they'll quickly say yes, because mom and dad, or in this case mom, has lived more life, sees things from a different perspective, much more mature and understanding, and probably better at a choice with words and so forth. Those are just some of the ways that Erin has been an incredible mom to our boys. And those are just simple teachings. Maybe if you're a new parent, or if you're currently a mom or dad of kids in middle school or younger, or maybe even in high school, maybe you could adopt some of those ideas. I hope you can. Happy Mother's Day, Erin. You are the best mom I've ever known. Happy Mother's Day, Nana, who raised Erin, and happy Mother's Day to my mom, who raised me. Love you, Mom. And happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. I hope you have a great one. God bless you, and I'll see you next week.